Hi, my name's Jeff Greger, and I am an anthropologist and a designer. Most of my academic research, when I got my master's in applied anthropology at San Jose State, was actually researching my previous profession in industrial design and really seeing the applications of design practice in international development and poverty alleviation settings. So, really trying to see how everybody from civic governments to design consultancies were attempting to adapt these sort of commercial product development practices into kind of more humanitarian contexts and trying to address the financial needs of people living on constrained incomes. And what I actually did was looked at a couple of groups that I had been working with and interviewed practitioners. And it was also very introspective for myself too, because I really wanted to prepare for a career working on applying both anthropology and design to really address some of the really significant problems facing people experiencing poverty. Uh, a lot of what I looked into was organizational constraints and supports, as well as ethical sorts of challenges that practitioners, both researchers and design professionals, encounter when they're working with communities that have been traditionally excluded, particularly from financial systems. So my current work actually picks up directly from a lot of my academic research. I spent the first 3 years out of grad school working with banking startups. So a lot of these were digital banks. Trying to change up how banks have traditionally been run. These are relatively small organizations trying to address relatively large problems around the lack of access to affordable financial services, particularly in low and moderate income communities in the US. So I was able to leverage a lot of my academic research, trying to understand how these teams work and some of the challenges we might face, including creating some communities of practice within organizations I've been a part of to really try to think more deeply about the challenges we encounter and the history of exclusion, particularly banking exclusion in the United States. And most recently, I've been transitioning into more government and civic tech sorts of spaces. So, really thinking about public policy, working more with nonprofits and community groups to develop social services that are more inclusive, that do respect people who might be taking out, let's say, food benefits or trying to address medical debt. So, now really trying to move a little bit away from the kind of corporate past that I'd had, both as a design consultant working on consumer products and then also sort of user experience design pieces. Those are all now rolled in to what I'm doing now, working with not-for-profit institutions. So most of my day-to-day work is actually kind of a mix of my design skills, so really trying to learn about how people are living their lives, the challenges they're coming across, trying to develop prototypes, but also then showing those prototypes to people and trying to get them involved in the process of developing services that can actually address their needs. The anthropological skills really come into almost every aspect of this, including every time I join a new organization or want to learn about other people that I'm working with. I'm constantly looking at everything from the language people are using to power working in whether it's between people who might be the beneficiaries of a program or the people who are delivering it or funders. So those are always lenses that I'm using in pretty much all of my work. So everything from traditional ethnographic methods of going out and being with people in settings, all the way through to actually kind of more closely related to design research. So showing people prototypes, having them walk through and explain how they're thinking and feeling as they're moving through them. And that can be really rewarding, really interesting, and I definitely get a chance to learn about a lot of people. And when it comes to keeping up with anthropologists, I tend to hang out with a group called Ethno Breakfast. So that's what we have here in the San Francisco Bay Area. That meets up about once a month, and it's a community of practice for practitioners. But also I go to conferences like the Society for Applied Anthropology and the EPIC conference.